The story of the 1971 Shelby starts with this guy right here, a man named Claude Dubois. But I'm just going to refer to him as Claude, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not positive that's how you really pronounce his last name. But anyway, back to the story. Our friend Claude here was a Belgian race car driver, and the owner of one of the very first licensed Shelby dealerships in all of Europe. He started selling Shelbys to the Europeans back in 1966. So a few years later, when he got word Ford had planned to discontinue the Shelby Mustang in 1970, old Claude wasn't having it. He immediately got on the phone with Carroll Shelby, and he was able to convince Carroll to let him produce a brand new 1971 Shelby Mustang for the European market. Carroll Shelby then put in a phone call to his good buddies over at Bob Ford in Michigan, and had him ship a few Mustangs across the Atlantic Claude's way. Claude was able to get his little Belgian hands on 9 1971 Mustangs, 7 fastbacks, and 2 convertibles. Now, some sources say that Claude got 14 71 Mustangs to start with, but I'm here to tell you that's a total load of horseshit. It was 9. Do your research. The brand new 71 Shelby was given a glorious debut here at the Brussels Motor Show. The show was attended by our old friend Claude, of course, but he was accompanied by none other than Carroll Shelby himself. Because like I told you earlier in this video, this car isn't just some cheap European knockoff. It was a legitimate, licensed, and approved Shelby Mustang. There is some footage of the car here at the Brussels Motor Show. Sadly, it's not a very long clip, but I'll go ahead and play the whole thing uninterrupted.
2000, certains ne font encore sourire par leurs formes originales et inédites.
I told you it was a short clip, but I'll go ahead and put the car back up on the screen so you can get a better look. And there it is, the car that most people don't even know ever existed. The 1971 Shelby GT500. The one pictured here was equipped with a 4-barrel 351 Cleveland and functional ram air. And of course it also had upgraded suspension. And as cool as that is, the 71 GT500 wasn't the only Shelby Mustang Claude and Carroll had up their sleeve. Because they also made a couple GT350s, in fastback and convertible. Out of the 9 cars produced, 8 of them were powered by the 351 Cleveland. But one car was made with a 429 Cobra jet. Now you're probably wondering why in the hell they only made 9 of these cars. When Claude and Carroll first came up with this idea, they both had every intention of putting this car into full production. Now, besides the fact that it was extremely expensive and difficult to get these cars all the way to Europe, there was one major unforeseen factor that really stopped the 71 Shelby dead in its tracks. Just like here in America, gas prices in Europe were skyrocketing. The energy and fuel crisis of the early 70s affected the car industry all over the world. People from all around traded in their big V8 performance cars for something smaller and more economical. The era of the muscle car was over, and sadly the 71 Shelby was no exception. Luckily, most of these cars still exist today. One was stolen in the mid-80s, and is still missing. The others are scattered across Europe, mostly in private collections. Even though the story of the 71 Shelby is short and mostly forgotten, it's undoubtedly an interesting part of the Ford Mustang's history, and a story that deserves to be told.